Hello, and welcome back to our tutorial series on the basics of Microsoft Excel. This video covers and, if, and or statements, as well as nested if statements.
Here we have an example of 5 students' scores on a midterm and final. First, we are interested in knowing whether the student got more than a 90 on both the midterm and the final. If it's true, I want it to show true, otherwise I would like it to show false.
In order to do that, we'll say equals and C5 greater than or equal to 90, comma, D5 is greater than or equal to 90, close parentheses. Both the and the or functions naturally return true or false. When you double-click on the small square on the corner, you see that none of the students outside of the first satisfy the condition, resulting in all false results.
Now, I want to check if at least one of each student's test scores is a 90. In order to do that, we will use the OR function. So I'll put equals OR, and then a similar statement, which is C5 greater than or equal to 90, and D5 greater than or equal to 90. Close the parentheses, and hit enter. After clicking on the box in the bottom right, you'll see that students 1, 2, and 5 receive 90s or above on at least one test.
Now we'll try something a little bit harder. Say we're trying to assign a grade to each student based on the following rules. If a student received a 90 on or above on both assignments, they should receive an A. If a student received a 90 or above on only one of the tests, they should receive an A-. And if a student did not get an A on either test, they should receive a B. But how do we want to do this?
First, because we know that we want outputs other than just true or false, we must begin with equals if. Then, the first thing we want to check for is whether or not the student got an A. So we will use our first formula, which is and C5 greater than or equal to 90, D5 greater than or equal to 90. And now what do we want to be shown if this value is true? Because we want to assign an A, we put the letter A in quotations.
Now what happens if this AND statement is false? We know we have more than one other output possible, so we want to open up another if statement within the value if false parameter of the first if statement. We want to check if the student got at least one A, so we're going to use OR in this case. Our formula will now read if and C5 is greater than and D5 is greater than 90, you'll receive an A. Or if C5 and D5 are greater than 90, you'll receive an A-.
Now, because we can assume that if the student did not get an A or an A-, then in this situation we're going to be assigning them a B, within the value if false parameter of our second if statement, we can simply put in quotations a B. Now our entire formula reads, if both C5 and D5 are greater than 90, return an A. If not, and C5 or D5 are greater than 90, return an A-. And if neither of these are true, return a B.
When you double-click the box, you will notice that our formula has been properly copied to all of the relevant cells. This has been the and or if video of our Excel tutorial series. Thank you for joining us.